What's next?
That does seem to be a common question right now.
That is the question.
Yeah. So we have a lot of people who are wrapping up a school year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that comes a lot of big feelings,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like excitement, exhaustion, but then also for some people it's uncertainty and all of those big feelings sometimes.
I just wrapped up a school year. Exhaustion.
Yes. I would say faculty are feeling that too.
Mm-hmm. Those of us who didn't have that big life transition, the graduation of some kind, it's just exhaustion.
It's just exhaustion.
Yes.
As you're going from wrapping one year up
into another.
But you also go year round. So like you start again in
next week. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I got to get some stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are some who are doing summer school too. Like, right, when you think of our K-12 students, some of them get additional support in the summer. The structure tends to help. So I think that's another thing, right? Like one of the things I think people look forward to is sort of that freedom, not having to.
Not everyone gets that freedom.
Yeah, but let's stick with that for a little bit. Like, because some people, I know you're like, not me, so let's not even go there.
Not me. I'm going to be sitting on a beach doing homework.
Yeah. And are you expecting us to feel bad for you?
That was a poorly timed vacation. We're a poorly timed school year.
Well, that's when it could happen, at least for us. I mean, you could choose to go when you would like to book your own.
Okay. You know what? I don't like you. Let's move on.
Can y'all tell? We're tired. We're exhausted. We're a little surly and out of sorts. I wonder how many...
We're not very playful today.
Not playful. No. It's like getting things done. Like, what's on the list? Let's get it done. But I wonder how many people that's in sort of in our space right now. Like, I know a lot of students feel that. I can guarantee you, as much as your faculty are smiling and being professional,
they don't want to be. No,
we're tired.
No,
we're done. Crispy fried too.
They're done. I know that.
Yeah, well, you've gotten to see some of the behind the scenes and back end types of stuff, but work. Don't get me wrong. Adulting is a whole different level of exhaustion. But there is something.
I'm not a fan of adulting. I've been in it for a year now. I'm not a fan of it.
Well, maybe part of it, though, too, is you're adulting and you're doing grad school. Like that brings a whole different set of...
I'm not doing a fun adulting. A fun adulting? I'm not doing anything fun while adulting.
Right. That could be...
Like all the big plans and dreams, they're just not happening.
But then think about this, which is what are, because I think that's exactly what we're talking about, which is when the end of the school year comes up or graduation, right? So many people look to that as like, okay, after that, then I will get to do.
Nah. Other things take priority sometimes.
So then do we tend to delude ourselves? And that could be a whole different episode. Right?
We tend to dilute ourselves.
Like delusions? Like, do we tend to engage in delusions? Like, because I tend to think, and I add these different things, and I'm
They're only delusions if you can't make them happen.
True. Well, and it's like how I make, like I can get all this stuff done, and then you get into the school year, and it's like, whew, you're just holding on and surviving sometimes until the end. So, but do we hold on to some of that hope and optimism that things will be different? Right? Hope, optimism, delusions, right? Because then what happens is then you graduate and you enter a whole different world. No?
I don't know. I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't know where you were going with that. Fair. Why would you not hold on to the delusions and optimism and the hope? It's what keeps the world keep going. What I think, okay, I'm speaking and I don't know that it's coming out in the way that it's supposed to come out. That's how we are today.
It's making sense, though.
Okay.
It is. So if you think in terms of wrapping up a school year, right? And let's say it's not even a big graduation type of thing. But let's say you're moving on to a different school, right? So you're going from elementary school to junior high to high school. Those can be exciting and sort of scary. And I also think with this, you're always sort of reshuffling who you are, especially when you think in terms of adolescence and how are they thinking of themselves, right? In every school has different grade levels, meaning different things. So some do junior high or middle school as 6th, 7th, and 8th. Some just do 7th, 8th, some 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever. But think about that. Even with that, there's sort of like the bottom, middle, and top, right? Like, ooh, I'm going in. So you're sort of starting all over again in pecking orders and so forth. Or now you're the big part, I'm in 8th grade and, that's the highest grade in junior high. So you sort of feel like you're big and things, but then you start over again as a freshman, sophomore.
I don't know that I ever felt that way.
But I do hear kids talking about that. You never felt that way?
I don't think so. First of all,
I don't think you
don't
did.
ask me to remember that far.
I don't remember you ever getting excited or...
I was never excited, guys, for anything ever.
I don't think you do. All right, you're very basic.
I contain my excitement, my emotions.
You do. You do not outwardly display a lot. Like, there's not a lot of drama at all with you. Like, sometimes you have to check in. Like, what are you thinking?
I usually don't know what I'm thinking. I'm observing.
You do. You take in a lot. Mm-hmm. That quiet observer. I mean, you're not quiet with people that you know well. You can.
I don't think anyone watching the podcast would assume that I'm quiet.
No, because you come up with zingers, and
I do my best.
You do your best. Like it's like the you sitting here sometimes. Like it's definitely you, the authentic self, but yet it's also
not what most people see.
Not what most people see, and certainly,
I like to keep people thinking, keep them on the toes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I find it entertaining.
We
know I need to be entertained.
Because you want to sit back and observe.
Yeah.
But you're not, I don't think you're like I'm
not looking for trouble.
No, you don't stir up chaos or stuff.
I'm just like, harmless fun.
And you'll point out a question or an observation to get people's thinking and reaction to that. But no, I would definitely say sitting here, I think you bring in maybe the sass, the attitude, maybe as a reflection of what's out there in social media.
Okay.
I don't know.
It has nothing to do with our topic.
No, but getting back. But speaking of social media.
I don't know. We were moving on to social media?
No, go ahead.
I thought we were still talking about, like, the perceptions of, like, hierarchies in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's very... That concept to me seems very TV stereotyped. Like
I see it a lot. I hear it a lot.
Yeah, but I never did. And I don't remember it. And I don't remember feeling that way. And so then I'm like...
Yeah, I mean, I remember, a lot. Some of the anxiousness about the newness going in and only being this or the excitement.
Think part of it might have been that I had always, like, already been in the schools before. Whether it was for something with the boys or I had dance recitals at the junior high.
So nothing was ever
fully
brand new.
Like I had walked the halls before. Yeah.
And so familiarity with spaces and people can sometimes be helpful. Maybe having brothers who... I think every year they were always there your first year. In all of your schools, weren't they?
Not in junior high, because they were going. They were the first
freshmen to go over to the high school.
Yeah,
So that was the first time you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because our school system was really weird before that.
It was interesting.
It was interesting. Elementary school, intermediate school, junior high, and then high school.
You guys were changing every 3 years. Yeah. I really wish I like how it is now, the K-5 altogether. K-5, K-6. Because I do think, and this is what the research shows, is that relationships change with each transition. So sometimes you just get used to some friend groups and now you're reshuffling. And that's one of the ways when you think about this that can be challenging and can be an opportunity, right? As it's this, when you're moving from one school to another, whether it's a new school, because you're being promoted or graduating or what have you, or you're moving from school to a job, your identity shifts. Who are you now? And that can be pretty tough for some people. And it can be an opportunity to sort of reorient yourself, to I don't know, rebrand yourself, become who you want to be.
Yeah. What was the social media thing you were going to bring up?
Well, I was saying, to me, it's a time that I sort of look forward to in social media because I get to see a lot of the pictures, right? So,
she's a Facebook user.
I know, us old people, right? But seriously, like my friends are sharing some of their pictures of their children. And so it's sort of fun to get to see them grow up and achieve another milestone, because a lot of times social media may be the only way that I'm staying in contact with some friends.
Are you really staying in contact with them if you're just looking at them on social media? That's a whole different question for a whole different topic.
It is. But I think that's one of the values of it, is because you do get to have these glimpses as they celebrate their milestones, and I can, say congratulations or putting in the comments, whereas they might not be people that I would see.
So question, this is not the topic, damn it. How is it different than parasocial relationships?
I think it's very different.
But you could say the same, like you wouldn't see a celebrity, however they share a milestone, you say congratulations.
These are people that I would say that I was close with, right? Because I think this does tie into our topic.
Does it?
It does, because a lot of these people, let's say my high school friends and college friends, like when you graduate, one of the things is, some of the things is the excitement, what you're looking forward to, but there is a loss of your identity during that time, right? Who I was in high school and what I did, very different, to some extent than what I did in college, especially if you're an athlete in one and you don't continue to, do the other. And with that are your relationships that you lose because you're going in different directions. And that's to be expected. You can't stay in contact and close with everyone. A lot of people do stay close with some high school relationships, with some college relationships. I would say certainly from college, there's, quite a few of us, we get together at least once or twice a year, but you can't do that with everyone. Even some of my closer friends from college, while our kids were growing up, it was really challenging to, find one weekend. Like, it is so hard for us to find one weekend to come from. And I would say the furthest apart we live is maybe 4 or 5 hours, but to find a time to get together because of our kids' schedules and
kids
our work
are really
schedules.
Just inconvenient, guys.
No, it's what we choose, and it's good. I think work is one in there also. And so we're going back to this, your relationship with these people change. But I did have experiences with some of these people. And so it is fun, when you sat in classes with them, when you were in plays together or you played sports together.
But the idea of that people evolve and change, you don't know the person that they are now.
I don't.
They're a different person, essentially. So what does it really matter?
It's based on my experience of them probably at that time. And you know what? I think part of it too,
I could argue this all day long, and I'm going to stop now because
I know.
I don't think we're going to get anywhere.
But I do think that this comes back to this topic that we have, which is these sort of milestones as people are moving into different ways of life, right? They're going different directions and they're meeting new people. They're taking on different roles, and that will change us. And hopefully for most of us for the better, and so it will change us in different ways. And so I think that's another neat part is getting to see some of these people that I had relationships with. And again, they're just glimpses of different things. And I find that there's some that I really resonate with because little things come out like, yeah, you'd probably maybe I didn't hang out with you very much during that time, but based on your values and what you're doing, you'd probably be something, if we lived closer, that I would maybe connect with more. And then maybe other people, it's not because people grow and their values change or maybe they start living their values. Maybe in high school, we didn't see that as much. But going back.
Okay.
Big emotions.
That just sounded like a whole lot of old people talk, but got it.
So how did a young person hear this? Well, and I should say young, but other people would call you old, but go ahead.
You know what? I'm not in a playful mood, and we've already discussed that. Anyways, I heard that as you're thinking too much into it because I don't. I don't know. I don't think there's anyone that I graduated last year that I don't even know that I follow any of them anymore because I don't care.
I was like, dang girl, who
it's
are
like
you?
If I wasn't like close with you, I don't care to know you anymore. And it was close with very few people. So yeah, I don't know. You just don't get it. You're a social butterfly. You don't get it.
You know what? That wasn't what I was thinking.
What?
I'm going to say this, but I don't think it's going to come out right.
Okay. That's very much who I am.
It is. And I just sort of and I've had this thought a couple of times, in the last week, and it's not it's not a bad thing. It's just sometimes I look at you and you're like, yeah, you had two brothers that were really close in age and your dad was a stay-at-home dad. And sometimes I look at you and yeah, you're just sort of go with it and sort of the way guys go with things.
You've called me a guy before.
I mean, you're very much a girly girl. Obviously. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes I think the way that and I don't think it's a bad thing.
My perception is very man.
I just don't think you get into the dramas and you delve too much into the feelings. But you're very nurturing. Seeing you with the kids and seeing you with dogs, you're very nurturing. So it's not although all the guys in our family are very nurturing to kids and dogs too, and cats, and I think all animals.
Yeah.
But maybe the thing is the out of sight, out of mind. You just don't hold on to emotions. No. That's, I think, the thing that's maybe that's it. That's very different. I was raised with there was two sisters, three of us girls. Mm-hmm. And I just know being around a lot of girls, we hold on to everything. I'm sorry. We remember what you did when you were 11.
I remember. I just don't care to recall. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's there and I know it, but like, unless you're in front of me, I don't really care.
I don't think I do. I don't either. But my sisters do. They don't ever let me forget. Okay, so if it's not in front of you, this could totally explain our family so much better.
I love that this is about life transitionings and it's really just us figuring it out, our family.
I think it goes back to sort of maybe one of the topics we're going to be talking about, but we said we'll wait for that for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when it's not right in front of, the ADHD. Like, not in front of me, not going to deal with it,
It's just like, it's not that it's like I don't remember to think about it. It's just that I don't care to.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know that that's really ADHD. It's not like out of sight, out of mind. It's like it's out of sight. Why does it need to be in my mind?
Yeah. And so tying this back into our discussions, which I think this is really important that everybody responds to these transitions very differently. Mm-hmm. Some people, like, they're nostalgic, they're crying.
That's just another stepping stone for me.
Right? These are big emotions that sometimes people will bring. At the high school graduation ceremony I went to this weekend. Y'all, I went to 3 different ceremonies. Friday.
2 for her sons.
And my students.
Students. And then one for her niece.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, so there were lots of big emotions at lots of them. I mean, I think at all of them.
My favorite thing is that right after Xander's graduation, like the actual graduation ceremony, he goes, on to the next. And I think that describes our family.
I think that does describe our family.
We're not sitting there crying. We're not.
Okay, first of all, we want to celebrate.
Yeah.
Every milestone. Mm-hmm. Like, we celebrate it. We want to acknowledge it. But I would probably say that that's come up several times. Like, I'm living life by looking in my front windshield, right? Like, yeah, I've got my rear view mirror and my side windows. Like, I'm checking those every once in a while as a reflection, like what's back there type of thing. Like, oh, isn't that nice to look back on those things? But I'm always moving forward.
Yeah.
But there are people who are literally stuck in their identities from when they were in, like, their high school identity. I hear that a lot more than being stuck in a college identity.
Mm. Yeah, we call it peaked in high school.
Peaked in high school.
Yeah.
And so do you think that goes back to what were some hopes and dreams? And some people were able to have the resources both internally and externally, because I don't think it's just all within an individual person's ability to make whatever happen, right? We know that socioeconomic status, additional supports are big in being able to achieve different things that they'd want for themselves. Mm-hmm. And then also just thinking, like, sometimes the realities of that. But then I think that goes back to what we're talking about, what next, mm-hmm. right? So what am I going to be doing? Who am I becoming, mm-hmm. right? What do I want to do with myself? Mm-hmm. And so to me, I think that that's a big part of this discussion is, okay, so when one thing wraps up this year in your, educational thing, and maybe it's what am I doing for the summer, right? What are summer plans? And so depending on what age range you are, it could be summer jobs, it could be different activities and so forth. But I think that's a big part of what am I doing with myself? How am I choosing to spend my time? How is, and I think the what next is for many people like that self-improvement. Mm-hmm. Or achieving goals. Mm-hmm. But maybe not. Maybe that's just a way that I think. Because some people, I think, are much better certainly than me, about being content.
I don't get being content. I don't. Like, I think there's certain things that you can be content in your life, and still, I don't know how, like, you can be content with your relationships and with your life, but still want it to evolve.
Yeah. And I guess maybe content maybe isn't the right thing. Like, I'm okay with where things are at. That's
and
what I
you
think.
don't want to grow. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And so content, I think you can be content and still want growth or evolving.
But the people who are just okay with where they're at.
And like,
And
this
that's
is
where
as
they
good as
stay.
it could ever be.
I don't get it. But that's like also not how we are.
Yes. And maybe where I this is where I don't get it as much. Like, I can even be okay with people who are fine with where they're at, and that's just life, and that's what they're choosing.
Mm-hmm.
Where I struggle, I think sometimes, is when people are, yeah, this is it. This is all that's ever going to happen. And the complaining about it and not seeing that they have maybe any ability to make changes. And not saying that changes can't be hard, because they are. I mean,
But nothing will change if you don't try.
Yeah. I mean, I got to see an amazing colleague who, somewhat similar in age, who graduated, non-traditional students. They're out there. They're, not everybody does the traditional path of straight from high school to college to, what have you. And so I think it's that constant, how do we look at ourselves and see that maybe there's a season that's wrapping up, whether you're in this school year and that a new chapter is opening.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's it, is there's people that there's no end to a chapter or a beginning of another chapter. They're just like, this is just going to be
it's just
the
one
same
long book.
thing. Oh, yeah, I can't do that. Like, I get so excited. I think it's always challenging, like, as I'm wrapping up a season in my professional journey and looking forward to new opportunities. I think, to me, that's just exciting to think about and thinking about the moving forward and what that will look like.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And maybe, and I think this is also hard too, being your age, because I do think, and I think this came up with when we did our little Help with the Hectic Holidays, people always ask, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to be? What are you doing with that art stuff and that counseling stuff?
Girl, I'm doing all sorts of stuff.
I know you are.
Stuff that I didn't think I would be doing. I graduated college and I said, well, I'm starting my master's in August. But until then, maybe I should start a podcast.
And you've incorporated both your creativity and, all of those things, from creating this amazing artwork behind you. That wasn't the plan. We had ordered something.
They came in damaged.
And you were like...
And it was out of stock, so...
So it's like, well, we have to have something. And so you were like, I'll just do it. And you did. And so, but you are constantly needing that balance of creativity and then also your interest in just what's happening with people.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have plans for after my master's. I don't. And that's okay.
I know, but
I do, people, but I don't.
I know, but people ask you, well, what is it you want to do?
I don't know.
You don't know, but then I think it's hard.
Like, and then I pop out doing something so random and people are like, what are you doing?
And I think it would be really challenging. I mean, certainly as your mom, sometimes, but not really, because I was also like that, right? Because I was sort of like, I had lots of interests. Well, law and psychology and education.
How'd that law degree work out for you?
I didn't do that. But think about, do you know how much law I read now? I read a lot of law and I can read it and understand it, whereas a lot of people can't, so that has helped me. Like, some people are like, how do you, this accreditation stuff and all of this other, like, how do you know, like, I'm like, no, this is not an innate thing that we all know how to do. But when I look at, I used to do accreditations for K-12 schools. I used to do this and that. So all of these different experiences and interests, but they all do tend to be very concentrated, right? There's a lot of things I have zero interest in, you know?
Anything art related?
No, that's not true. I actually am very interested in a lot of creativity and those kinds of things. Not in, glitter, no. I can get excited over glitter.
I love glitter.
I can get excited. I just don't want to clean it up. But no, there's some artistic sides of me that I do enjoy. I probably just don't spend enough time.
I need a project. That's what I've decided.
I need a project too.
That's not work
related.
Your kitchen cabinets earlier.
Actually, yes. Let's talk about that afterwards. Okay. Talk about transitions. What are you going to do with your summer? Apparently, you're going to pick up some projects. Uh-huh. So, and I've got a couple of projects that I want to, like, hobby related. My goal is to get some hobbies. I shouldn't say that. I have things I enjoy.
Pick up her hobbies again.
Pick up my hobbies again.
She set them down many years ago. About 2 decades ago when she had kids.
Yes.
And she's decided it's time to pick them back up.
It's time to pick them back up.
Because she's at that point where life transitions.
Yes.
And she has the time. Yes. Or she's willing to make the time.
Willing to make the time. And I'm trying to bring it back to, what is our topic again? Right? Which is these sort of end of chapter, picking things up again. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the thing that I love about school years, both having been a student and then being faculty, which I think it gives you, it's that built-in time and breaks to take a second to breathe and think about what you want to do next, you know? Whereas I think that's very different when you're adulting and you get your traditional 2 to 4 weeks of vacation a year. You don't have those natural built-in breaks that sort of force you to, or I shouldn't say force you, they give you an opportunity, right? Because a lot of times as a student or as faculty, you can sit there and go, oh, you know what? I'm going to think about this on break. Or I'm going to do this differently as faculty. This is what I'm thinking all the time, right? Which is that, okay, the way I'm going to structure this or my time or what I want to be doing, you know, so it gives you a chance to almost like reinvent yourself a little bit or reprioritize, you know, like this is what I want to be doing and how I want to spend this time. And I think I think it's easier to break your life into those chapters when you're, you know, if you think about it, first grade, second grade, those were very easy chapters to sort of like identify with. Whereas once you graduate, then it's like this one long, well, that chapter was about 5, 8 years, 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
So when people ask you, well, what do you want to do? How does that feel for you?
It's like, where do you want me to start? Let's see. Everything, nothing, things I probably will never do, things I probably wouldn't actually want to do. All the things.
Well, but most people who are undertaking grad school, like they really see that as their primary area of focus and vocation.
No. No.
But then do you think people think you're not taking it seriously?
Maybe. I show up, I have a 4.0, I get my stuff done. It didn't cuss that time. Be proud of me. Thank you.
Okay. Yay, you. No cussing.
She gets on to me, guys.
Language, missy.
Anyways, I don't know. I knew that what I wanted to do within the field required at least a master's. Mm-hmm. However, is it the thing that I want to do most of my life? Probably not.
You don't ever see yourself.
I will never do one thing. I can't do it. Don't make me. I want to do all the things.
All the things.
And none of the things.
And then I'm sitting here going, ooh, and I modeled a lot of like doing.
How many jobs do you have?
I don't know what you're talking about, Victorya.
No? Okay. How many businesses do you have?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Okay.
But well, besides the rentals, which is really about your dad. But I also like the vision, right? Like, that's what I'm really good at, is vision.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is what you and your dad are amazing at, right? Because
the execution
of it. Because if you just had me,
than the vision,
they make it way better. And that is my best. Like, when I look at teams and who I surround myself with.
She's like, I will give you the vision. I need you to create it and make it happen.
And that's what I'm good at, though, right? Because if your dad was left to vision, like, that's how we're really good with team. You know, we're good teamwork. He's gotten a lot better about having some vision, and so forth. So that's just, again, I know one of my strengths is developing new things or coming in and assessing and helping organizations or programs sort of restructuring to be operating at the where they want to be. So that's what I'm really good at. Once it gets to a good place, that maintenance, like, that's...
She has many skills. She wants to use them all. And so she has many jobs. And people wonder why I want to do all of the things and not just one thing. I'm not content doing one thing. I cannot show up every day and counsel people.
Well, and, you know...
Like, I could, but I wouldn't enjoy it.
And I think when people think, oh, you have so many jobs, like, they think it's like...
But they're all
I'm
intertwined.
all over the place. They all are intertwined, and they inform the other. First of all, and I may say this and get a lot of pushback from people. I think in the field of education, like, and especially I'm a counselor educator, so my role is to work with graduate students. I think it would be really challenging to be teaching them things that I have never done. And I'm seeing this a little bit in the field that I was seeing a lot of applications, and it's like, but you haven't been in the field very long. So how will you teach students how to do this when you've not really done it much at all, if any, yourself, right? So if to be a counselor, I think me having a few clients helps me stay relevant, because I think, especially post-COVID, things have changed tremendously. So if we're not out there in the field, if I'm not out there hearing how my K-12 educators are talking about what they're experiencing right now, then when I'm training school counselors, like, if I was going off of information I had learned 10 years ago when I was in schools, it's very different now. So I really, for me, staying on top of what is happening in knowing what the social emotional needs are of individuals, it really takes being out there and having a pulse on a few different things. And so that's what I do. And that seems like it's a lot to other people. So I don't know. It just makes sense in my head.
I think you are a lot to other people. It's okay. I think that's great.
Thank you for appreciating me. Y'all, what am I supposed to do? It's not that I don't want to just sit around and watch television.
You don't want to just be content with where you are.
Well, and it has been lovely. I've gotten up and I've intentionally had slower mornings where I'm reading a little bit. Like, there's things that I can tell when my life has gotten out of balance, and it certainly has the last 3 years. And especially when I would say it's out of balance, doing some things that I can do but maybe don't love doing.
How are we?
Seasons of life.
Okay.
Moving towards things that you want to do.
Okay.
So these natural transitions, and I think that that's what I would want for someone like you to go, okay, you are just wrapped up. You're going into your last summer, hopefully. Fingers crossed you pass.
Can we not jinx it?
Sure. You're going into your last summer.
Uh-huh.
And does that give you, like, I'm wondering if you think about that. Like,
no, I want it done.
loves. You want it done.
I am on to the next.
You're on to the next. You're looking forward to nothing the following summer.
Looking forward to graduation, degree in my hand, and I'm done.
And I guess I wonder, do you trust yourself? Like, once you get there, you're like, you'll have it figured out.
I will have absolutely nothing figured out, but I will know that I have many options following.
And don't you think that may imply a certain trust in yourself?
Well, I don't know. We've had this discussion that I'm probably overconfident in so many different ways.
That it's just going to be okay. Yeah. You'll figure it out.
It's life. It's not that serious.
Do you think that so many people do get tied up in I've got to make the exact right decision and go to the right college?
I don't have a 5-year plan, and yet here I am.
But maybe that's a problem for some people.
Well, let me tell you, when I started high school, I saw that I was going there for 4 years. I ended up going there for 3 years. And then I did not foresee getting my master's after college. And I certainly did not foresee starting a podcast or working for my mommy. Yeah.
And
you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do next year. And I don't really care that I don't know.
You're just getting through the next step.
Because I'm sure it's going to be something out of pocket that most people would not see coming.
And you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that. That sounds like fun to me.
And I think as I watch you sort of do some things, like I could not have named that for myself. Like I thought I was going one way and it's like, nope, go this way, And I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to keep going down a path just to go down a path. Like, well, no, I'm sort of interested in this over here. And I have always found that when I'm pursuing my interests, and I would say passions. I don't know that your generation is really passionate. And I'm not saying that in a bad way.
We're not passionate about anything except for time off and social media.
I don't mean it that way. I mean it, like, honestly, sometimes
we're passionate
I feel like,
about ourselves.
And I think that can be a good thing, right? Like, I sometimes think some of the things I get really passionate about end up causing some maybe sticking points because I feel very strongly about some things and I'm not willing to compromise on some things. Like high quality. Like I don't want to be involved in something unless we are going to make it high quality. Mm-hmm. Like mediocrity, like if I'm going to do an educational program, I really want it to be one of the best. And I want to make certain that any students I have, they're doing well because the clients or the students or the whatever they're going to be with, they deserve people who know their stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I feel very strongly about this. And I don't want to be involved in mediocrity.
Yeah. Fair. Neither do I.
I know, but I think and again, remember that this is my perception of what it takes. So other people can be like, there's lots of right ways.
Sometimes I look at you and I'm like, you're making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. Like it can be high quality and take half as much effort.
Yes, probably true.
Yeah. But I'm also like, let's take the shortest way possible. Yeah. But you're like, no, let's enjoy the ride.
Oh, I'm all about the experience, right?
No, I'm like, I want on to the next. I want the next thing. I want that,
but I'm like, y'all, if I can drive an hour out of the way to go see the world's largest ball of twine, I think there is something real like that. And if that's the case, I need to know where it's at. No. But anyway, I'm gonna take that road that's not traveled, and we are just gonna be playing some music and having a good time doing it. Like, why take the interstate and the straight route when we can drive the coast?
Because the destination. Like, I want the destination. And what I see along the drive, that's great. I like that. I'm not driving out of my way.
But it's only just a little bit.
It's an hour one way, an hour back. That's an extra 2 hours. That's 2 hours I'm not at the destination.
So speaking of college friends, remember.
Oh my God. Tell us about your spring break, Angel. Back in the 90s.
Way back from spring break, again, remember, we only had maps. We did not have GPS.
What was your initial destination?
Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Florida.
From Northeast Missouri.
From Missouri down to Florida. And then, straight back up.
No, we decided we were going to stop in New Orleans on the way home.
Oh, okay. So we went down, and then instead of going right back up, we went
over. And
we made a triangle instead of a line, Angel.
And I think I'm gonna have to message them and because I think it was a good call. Like, we had a great time.
No, I'm sure that was an amazing call. We still laugh
at some of the things that we did, and it was just a quick stop.
Mm-hmm. A quick stop that costs you 8 hours.
Whatevs. It was a good time.
And that's fun. It's with your friends. That's fun. It's not a work project.
But sometimes you learn.
If you add an extra 8 hours to my work projects, Angel.
Yes, I don't want to be. I do believe in efficiency too. So that efficient and effective, those are both very important in work projects.
Anyways,
they're
back
not
to life
always,
transitions.
Yes, life transitions.
Uh-huh. What do you got? Do we want to talk about graduation?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you about graduation.
Please, tell me about graduation.
First of all, we didn't have tickets to graduation.
Oops. Hey, y'all. Mom fail here.
Well, to be fair, it was your son's responsibility, and then he gave you the responsibility, and then they were sold out by the time we remembered because he didn't give you his pen.
Yes. So he was very responsible in the sense that he gave it to me before the tickets opened.
Yes.
So that was very responsible. But then when I went to try to get them, when I remembered, I was like, oh, wait, I don't have his information. So I couldn't get them then. Mm-hmm. And then it suddenly was like, oh, wait, there's none left.
Anyways, we ended up getting some last minute.
Okay, because you know what happened, what I did.
What'd you do?
Because I did feel bad, mom fail with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out there were extra tickets and that they were going to be released when the doors opened at 8 a.m. So guess who was there before 7:45 to be in line to get those tickets. Mm-hmm. So I got tickets.
Yes, she got tickets. Anyways, they weren't good tickets. That's not the point though, because we had tickets and we were tickets.
There. Yes.
So anything's better than nothing.
Yes. And there were 3 together.
Yes. But some people a little bit farther down the road than us, when their kid's name was announced, they're like, ugh, he mispronounced the name. And then a little while later, someone else's kid got announced that they knew, and they go, ugh, they mispronounced the name again. And they were so up in arms about it. And it took everything in me not to look over at them and go, that's your own kid's fault. Yes. Because as someone who graduated last year from the same college, I know damn well they sent out an email asking people to go into this little site thing and record how they wanted their name to be pronounced. And those were 2 boys, and I know damn well that those 2 boys did not even open that email, let alone pronounce their name.
Yes. And as somebody who has a name that is frequently mispronounced, so that can be challenging. Mm-hmm. And so we're
it was your own kid's fault. And you're all up in arms over this.
Well, even in high school, we didn't have the recording, but as the parent, I had they ask, how do you pronounce your last name or your name? So that way we get it. So you're writing the phonetic And
then they always mispronounced it anyways.
Yeah. And that's,
when you have a name that's commonly mispronounced, it's not a big deal.
I don't think so. I'm sort of surprised when people get it right. I'm like, wow, nailed it. That's awesome. But yes, I would say with graduation, I would say most people that I know, administrators, they want to pronounce it correctly. They want to make this a very good experience for the graduates, pronouncing names correctly. They can only work with what they've got, though.
Yeah. Should have raised your kids better, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
I don't get why men get a free pass to just like not do things and not be on top of things. Is it really the out of sight, out of mind thing?
I don't know if it's that, because that is not, you are very responsible and you will look for those things. I never had to, so that is not a trait that you picked up on, but we sort of know.
That is the one thing that I am not man about.
As boy mom, we there is this sort of joke many times, like, you know, as boy moms, we just sort of know certain things you're not gonna know, right? Versus being a girl mom. Like, okay, seriously, talk about things that can happen.
And why is that?
I don't know.
Just why?
I just don't think they think about it. It's not there. They don't. Like, seriously, I could ask, like, anything exciting happened at school
I was watching
today.
a TikTok today, and it was this girl, and she was like, I typed B so hard that I forgot to order my cap and gown. And I was like, there's no way. Like, you know type A and type B?
Yes.
Yeah, she's like, I typed B so hard that I forgot to order my cap and gown. I was like, girl, there is no way. And the fact that they are letting you sit out in the graduation and walk across the stage anyways.
Oh, with no cap and gown?
Yeah.
Nobody found one?
I don't know. I don't know. I was like, girl, there is no way. How? Anyways.
Right, because there's lots of emails. And I will say this.
There's so many emails.
There's so many emails. Like, email is becoming a very cumbersome.
I don't check my emails. My emails get lost.
And I think that's one of the challenges, is that there's so much email and people are using that as the primary form of communication. But y'all, how do you get through 200, 300 emails a day? Like, literally, a lot of times, 100 minimum. And most of those I need to read and respond to. It's nearly impossible. Like, I can be sitting there. And this has nothing to do with our episode, but whatevs. Like, I can be sitting there with email and I can be responding, and I cannot keep up with the emails that are coming in that require responses, even if that's all I'm doing.
Stop giving people your email. Stop giving them your email.
No, I just feel like that somehow we're going to have to get better systems, better automations. Like, I do think.
But then it just turns into the same thing.
Yeah, like, I hate, scheduling.
Yeah.
Can we just not email back and forth dates and times? Like, there's ways to collect our availability. There's invitations.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole lot of work that we don't have time to get done. I know. We got other things going on.
There's lots of things.
Anyways, do you have any advice for people entering a new life transition?
I think the advice I would give for anyone who is entering into a life transition would be to think about who you want to be, who you want to become, what's important to you. So I think knowing what your values are, knowing what your interests are, and then also knowing what your goals are and who you want to become and how you want to be that person, I think those are important to sort of keep in mind. Not that we're going to do all of those things all of the time, but those are the things that are in the back of my mind, that I'm showing up to be that person most of the time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
There's going to be a lot of detours in life. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of roadblocks. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some things you did not anticipate.
Go with the flow.
Sometimes it can be heartbreaking, and but most of the time we don't have choice in this thing called life, except choosing how we are responding to things. And so that's really, I only get to choose my response out of everything. There's things that I'm going to keep trying to do for myself, but we know a lot of these things, life can be amazing, and
life happens,
and it can bring you to your knees, and so all we can do is just keep choosing our responses and how we want to show up and what we want to do, and finding the people that we want to live life with. Who do you want on your road trip with you? Who do you want to stop and see along the way? Like, yeah.
Yeah. You got any takeaways? Or were those your takeaways?
My takeaway, honestly, at the end of this episode is
what did we talk about?
I need a vacation and I need to get back to some regrounding myself and up my meditation practice. So I definitely, my takeaway is recalibrate, Angel.
My takeaway is, what did we talk about? We talked about so many things, and I think it was all very valuable depending on how you interpret it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.